Hi, and welcome to the Spencer Lodge podcast. I'm your host, Spencer Lodge, and today we had the great fortune of interviewing Darren Winters, a phenomenal trader. Stocks, currencies, commodities, you name it, this guy knows how to trade. Not only has he got a great story, but he teaches people how they can make money trading on the markets. Let's get stuck into this right now. Cue the music. Darren Winters on the show. Thank you very much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. I've never ever seen you in real life apart from today. The first time I've seen you stand on stage and present. And boy, you were impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a fun day today.
It was, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the value that you bring to people when you talk about how you trade, you make it seem so easy. Is that because it is, or is that just because you're a master of making things look easy?
Definitely can be a lot easier than most people who kind of struggle and try and do it by themselves. Same as anything in life, find something that works, copy it, keep it simple, repeat it. So it can be very easy if you learn the right things.
How long have you been teaching people to trade?
Must be getting on for 20 years now, I think.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's a long time. So where did it start? Where did the journey begin for you in terms of teaching? But I mean, it must have come from a place of being a trader yourself in the first place, yeah?
So to get onto the actually teaching, it was kind of by accident. So my story, super briefly, was I wanted to get rich. I had no money. I was in debt, all kinds of things, and I found some of the best traders in the world champion traders, persuaded them to mentor me one-to-one, learned what they were doing, copied them, made millions of pounds, and then people saw my life like massively improving, me buying all these expensive things, going on super holidays, and just said, "What are you doing?" And I said, well, I'm trading, learn how to trade. And they were like, can you teach me? Got my mates around my house, taught them to trade. And it kind of grew from there. And then I accidentally ended up teaching a group of people. And they were like, oh, you should do training courses. And so I kind of got into doing the training for more and more people.
There's naturally, when we go to school, subjects that we kind of lean into because we naturally have an interest in them and like them, and so the whole mechanics of learning about it is a lot easier. It's almost like, I suppose, stuff jumps out of the workbook at you much more than some other subjects where you're sitting there scratching your head thinking, chemistry and the periodic table for me was just one of those things, I don't get it. Is this a subject matter that just came natural to you? Is it something that you picked up and because you had a great interest in it?
I think not at all, actually.
Okay, right.
I didn't have any particular interest in stock market or finance or the economy. I was literally at school looking for what's going to make me a lot of money in the easiest possible way. And my parents, both teachers, school teachers, and we had a big family. I got two sisters, a brother, and my parents definitely weren't wealthy. We were okay, but I could see they couldn't afford a lot of things that we probably they would have wanted to give us. And I thought, okay, I've got to learn how to make money. I want to be rich when I'm older, and I was just looking for what would be a good way to do it. See movies with stockbrokers making loads of money. I thought, okay, that looks good. Perhaps I go down that route. But I had no interest in the subject apart from I thought it'd make me a lot of money.
Wow. And did you go to university?
I did, yeah.
I
studied engineering. Well, actually, I studied engineering for 1 year. It was about 40 hours a week study, and I thought, wow, no way, I've come to university to have fun and party, and I switched courses. I actually did well in my first year of engineering, but I went to careers and I said, look, I want to swap. And I actually asked them the question. I said, which course has the least number of hours study? Like, we're not gonna let you swap because of that. I said, just tell me. They're like, computer science, 7 hours a week. I was like, okay, I'm going on that one. That's what I want to do. I switched courses just because I thought in life, I know university, of course, is good for some jobs and you've got to do it, but my reason for going there was purely social. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to do investing. So I thought I'm not going to need my degree education, but I want to have a good time. So minimum hours study, that'll be nice.
I interview a lot of people, and there's a lot of this kind of rags to riches story that I hear, or the born with a silver spoon in their mouth. And everyone's got a kind of a justification for each of those types of backgrounds. And then there's the people that life wasn't so bad, but it wasn't amazing.
Yeah.
And what's the story from coming from there? And for you to say, I wanted to make a lot of money, meant that you must have been influenced somewhere by what money could give you.
Yeah.
Can you remember back when you were younger to what that was?
I think just, as I see my parents as teachers working really hard, and teachers, it's a tough job, a school teacher, because you're working all day and then you've got homework and you got to work a lot, and I saw them working really hard and not making much money, and I thought, flipping heck, that's not how life's got to be. They had no free time and not much money, and I thought, okay, I don't want that for myself. Maybe that's part of what motivated me. I just, somehow I got in my head, you're only around on this earth for a certain amount of time, you better make sure you make the most of it and really go for it. And I got this in my head at school for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why.
It's unusual though, isn't it? It's not typical.
No, not typical. I mean, my parents weren't investors. They weren't entrepreneurs. They were just like regular teachers. But they encouraged me when I came up with my crazy ideas. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go and learn from these investors. They're like, yeah, go for it. Sounds great. And so I think it was nice that they were open to that.
You got brothers and sisters?
Yeah, so 2 sisters, brother.
And what kind of things do they do?
Because I do what I do, I've taught them to trade, which is kind of my brother taught him to trade about 15 years ago, and his lifestyle now, since I taught him this, he spends 5 months a year skiing, snowboarding, bought himself an apartment in Alpe d'Huez in France, beautiful apartment, incredible view. He spends 5 months a year in Portugal windsurfing, bought himself a big villa in Portugal, swimming pool, he's out there now. And he spends 2 months a year in Poole Harbour windsurfing, bought himself an apartment in Poole Harbour. Yeah. That's because I taught him to trade.
Wow.
And he's like, even this week he was on the phone to me saying, come out to Portugal, it's beautiful out here. I was like, yeah, that's because of me, you got that.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting thing you said. Does he thank you or do you remind him?
No, he does thank me. He knows it's because of what I taught him.
Yeah? But, any sisters?
Sisters. One of my sisters really loves this stuff. My funny thing is, one of my sisters, she's really into horse riding, and she'd always wanted to set up a horse riding retreat, I suppose. And through doing this, she was able to buy a field, set up her stables, get her whole thing going. And she said to me, Darren, I don't love trading, but I love the lifestyle it's given me, which I think is cool. I mean, you don't have to love it. No. Who cares? In total, my investing now takes me 1-2 hours a week. And that's it. I do whatever I want. So, yeah. But yeah, my sisters, they enjoy what they do.
It's a means to an end for them, isn't it?
Yeah.
In that respect.
I mean, now that I've done it for years and made a lot of money from it, I enjoy it because you start to associate. You make lots of money doing this, and it is really fun for me now.
For me, I think that it was always a bit of a boring subject. When I was learning about that kind of stuff, because it reminded me of math.
Okay, yeah.
And because it reminded
kind of depends on the teacher, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Because I quite often, even today, because I was giving this talk today, quite a lot of people came up to me afterwards and said, I'd always thought it was so complicated, and I'd always been like really intimidated by it, but hearing you talk, I get it. It was like so clear, and so part of it's down to how it's taught, I think.
When you look at the China and the amount of retail investors they are, that compared to institutional investors in the West, looking at that percentage of retail investors being so high, it's almost like you need to find a bigger platform to be able to teach what you teach than the platform that you have, because you've got a message of basically teaching people how to make money on the markets very simply. And most people, I know for sure, most people will go, oh, that's not for me, I don't understand all that, that's German, that's gobbledygook. And the way I was watching you position it today, how can you get that message to more people? Yeah, you're on a stage and you're in front of 1,000 people.
Yeah.
But how can you multiply that out? How can you scale that?
Yeah, I mean the kind of obvious way to scale it would be just having it as an online resource, which we do. We've got an online resource, but it's not our main thing, because having someone with you in person I think is always more powerful, even if it's in a training course environment, because they can come out, ask you questions, you can sit with them, help them. Yeah. So I really like that. But to reach millions of people, obviously it's going to be some kind of online training system, training program, which, as I said, we do have part of that, but we always try and include a bit of live stuff as well. But yeah, It's fun.
Actually, I think about that thing with e-learning. You're right. You know, learning a subject like that from a webinar or from videos online. For some people, they don't need to be in a room with a teacher, but for most of us, you're right.
Still like a bit of personal contact. And we do webinars. I actually do a webinar, a kind of big webinar once a month, where I actually go through I go through real charts, real trades, and just go through saying all my analysis, saying, hey, this is what I think of this one's probably going to take off, and that's really powerful. People seeing me doing it in front of them live, going through choosing trades and things, that's super good.
Watching it go through at the same time, yeah, that makes sense. So you basically left university and you made a fortune overnight and you lived happily ever after.
Yeah, we wish.
What happened along the way? You're out of university, you learned to trade. Has it been plain sailing apart from the odd hiccup here and there, or have you had...
No, not at all. So and I think for most entrepreneurs, investors, it's never straight to that maybe. But for me, left university, didn't want to get a job, but I did. I got a lot of really rubbish jobs to start off with, just to kind of tick over while I was looking for something. Worked in McDonald's, worked in a factory soldering circuit boards. I was working on a farm, picking vegetables, pulling up leeks in the winter, freezing my hands off, and worked in a bar. But in my mind, that wasn't the job. That was just to keep me going. Started a business with two of my university friends, computer software business, travel management software, and just that became very successful. We were actually the number one in the UK at one stage for travel management software. Wow. And then we went bankrupt. We overexpanded, took on too many staff, took on big fancy offices, and we were kind of novice business people, so we didn't really know what we were doing. We were just lucky for the first bit of it. Went bankrupt, £250,000 debt. Personally, I was in a lot of debt, and we were basically screwed. At that stage, I thought I just started learning the stock market investing on the side of running the business, and it had just started going well. And I thought, oh my God, that's so good timing that I've now got another stream of income to try and dig me out of this hole. I started trading, ups and downs, like most people when they're learning, made some mistakes, lost a bit, made a bit. The big difference was when I decided I was going to find the best people in the world and copy them. And I just went out there, chose a couple of the actual world trading champions, found them and said, look, you've got to teach me. Well, it wasn't quite that easy. A lot of persuading, but got them to teach me, and I just basically copied the strategies, applied them, and from there, from real struggling, that's about 50 grand in personal debt, went on to make millions of pounds pretty quickly over the next few years.
It's funny, isn't it, how you went out and copied people that were successful at it. I say to people all the time, just copy what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You don't have to be original.
Yeah.
All you have to do, if what I'm doing is the right thing for you, just steal it. You know, I don't mind. Just copy that. It's exactly fine with me. And I suppose that you've gone out and you've learned from these guys that knew exactly what they were doing, and all you're just giving is that knowledge plus your flavour to it on top of it for people to learn from. I learned from a lot of the best traders in the world personally, like one-to-one, and then I combined the best of everything they were doing, simplified it, and put it in a way that kind of anyone could understand. Because when they were teaching me, some of these guys, they're super good investors, but they teach me and I go, I just have got no idea what you just said. I don't understand anything you said. And I'd have to try to figure it out. And I think because my parents were teachers and they were good teachers, I got used to trying to simplify things and make them clear. Mm-hmm. And I was able to take everything together, make it super simple. And now, I said today when I was giving my talk, I teach free training courses for children to teach them investing. And when I first taught the course for children, I realized that even though what I was teaching was really simple, it still needed to be simplified further for 10-year-old kids to get it. And that was real eye-opener for me, and I had to kind of work how I explain the strategies, and now I can teach it to kids and they get it in a couple of hours. It's so easy to teach adults this stuff, but going through that process is kind of fun and taught me how to simplify things even more. Do you remember what the worst investment decision was that you made?
Yeah, definitely. Not for stock market, forex, all that side of things. There's one on property which I remember. So I was looking to buy an office in Bermondsey in London, and I did end up buying an office. It turned out to be a super good investment, which was fine. But the place I was choosing between two different investments. The one that I turned down has now got planning permission. They've actually finished the build, and they built £1 billion tower block.
Oh, really?
And I could have bought the plot for 5 million. And I just think, oh my God, I was choosing between these two possible plots. And I mean, I say it's a bad investment, a bad choice. The one I got was actually really good, but I think, oh my God, that was like a £1 billion opportunity that I missed because I made the wrong choices. Like
that's down not far from the Shard Tower Bridge and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so on the drive to my office, I drive past the tower that they built.
Oh no, you get
so
a reminder.
every time I go there, I get reminded that I could have made like £1 billion on there. But what the heck, I mean.
And the best decision? Best investment decision?
Best investment decision, I mean, I would say my training and learning. I go on lots of training courses and I get mentored by all kinds of people. Best investment I've ever made is in myself, learning this stuff. Because you learn once, you've got it forever. Yeah, super valuable.
And how many people have you now trained over the years? It must be thousands.
Yeah, so people who've actually seen me in person for training is probably close to 500,000 now.
500,000 people?
Yeah.
That's incredible, isn't it?
So, yeah, it's a lot of people.
That is incredible.
Which is, I mean, it's really nice because when I'm speaking at an event like I was today, and usually before I go on stage or when I come off on stage, I get loads of people coming up to me saying, "Oh, I've done your course. I'm making this money. It's so good. Can I take a picture with you?"
That came up to me while you were talking. This lady came up to me. She goes, "I'm one of his clients. Would you like me to go on stage and be a referral for him?"
Cool.
And I'm like, "Oh, you're talking right now. But I can't." But yeah, there were people even doing that to me,
which is fantastic. I even now, because I've spoken to lots of people, I would say every other time I go out and I'm just walking down the street, someone will stop me and say, "Do you know, I've done this and I've made this happen." That's so good. That feels so good to hear that. So I love it, helping people get this stuff.
When you're a trader, I suppose, and teaching what you do, you don't have a retirement, do you? It's kind of like you never retire and you're always retired. It's almost the same.
I mean, there's nothing to retire from.
Yeah.
I was telling people today, my current lifestyle is, every year, I usually take about 4 months off and I go snowboarding because I love snowboarding. Mm-hmm. And I go all different places. Went to Japan one year for a bit of heli snowboarding. Just booked Alaska for next year. So got some friends who are really into snowboarding as well. So we all go out and have a crazy time. In the summer, I take 2 or 3 months off and just travel around. My kids still go to school in London, so I kind of got to be based here. Mm-hmm. But I love London anyway. It's always lively, lots going on.
It's a great city. And when you think about what are the biggest mistakes that people make that maybe sign up and work with you as a mentor?
Yeah.
Of course, we all want the kind of the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but I know for a fact that doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah.
Why does that not work for everybody? Where do they go wrong?
Yeah. So the big one when it comes to investing is, first of all, you got to help the person believe that it's possible, because then that changes their mindset, so they're in the right mindset. Because if someone goes into it and they're like, "Oh, I don't know if it's going to work anyway," it kind of screws them up straight away. Mm-hmm. So part of what I do now is at the 3-day training course, I always do some live trades in front of them. Mm-hmm. To show them that, look, this works. There's no question about it. It works. And like today, I showed the whole audience my trading account for the last 2 weeks. Just to prove to them that I walk my talk and it works. So you've got to get that belief first of all. But then the mistake that people make sometimes is they let their emotions take over. Mm-hmm. And with investing, 2 big emotions are fear and greed. Mm-hmm. And they've got the rules and they've learnt the rules, they've been on the course and they know what to do, and they'll go into a trade, real money, and they go, "Okay, I know I should do this, but it's gone down a little bit and I know I should get out there, but I'm not going to, because I don't want to lose that little bit, and it will go back up and I'll leave it for now." And then it drops a bit further and like, "Okay, I'm definitely not getting out now." And then it drops. So it's emotions, basically. Emotions take over, fear and greed, and they break the rules.
But those as 2 characteristics in human beings are very, very powerful, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, seriously, you know, you to manage someone's psychology around the opportunity to make money. Everyone's greedy about that and not wanting to get out when it's going down. I mean, I know, as you explained that to me, I almost felt it. To me, it's that strong. But
the thing with the stock market is it's kind of set up in a way so that what we naturally want to do, we will do exactly the wrong thing. Without like training and following rules, people generally do exactly the wrong thing, which is why a lot of people who go into investing lose money unless they've learned how to do it properly. I don't know if you were listening when I said a statistic. I said 95% of traders and investors lose money. And I said, when I heard that statistic, I got excited because I thought, where's all that money going to? It's going to the 5% who know what they're doing. So if I can get into that 5%, it's going to be an incredible amount of money coming my way. Yeah. It's because most people naturally just do the wrong thing. So the way that I've tried to check people do it properly is when I've taught them all the rules and what to do, I say, what you got to do is write down these most important rules on a piece of paper, stick it on your desk. Just before you're about to do a trade, you've got to tick off each of these things. And if you haven't ticked them all off, don't do the trade, because then they're forced to follow these rules instead of going emotionally making decisions, which emotional decisions when it comes to investing is not a good thing.
No. So, do you think it's possible for everyone to make money?
If they follow rules, yes. With investing, the thing is you're getting probability on your side. No one will make money every time, but as long as you're making money more times than you're losing, that's it. That's what you're after. Probability on your side. The more you trade, the more money you make. And yeah, that's what all the strategies and techniques are aiming to get probability on your side.
How do you compete with the world of digital currencies, Bitcoin and everything else nowadays? Is that part of what you have to consider, or do you eliminate that?
I mean, the strategies that I teach can be used to trade cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum and all these. What I say to people is to be careful because they're more volatile, bigger price moves, which means they're more risky because you've got to have your stop to protect you further away in case it just does some big move. Can make good money using them, and I have. I've made money as they've gone up. I made even more money as they came down. But I'd say with a small part of your portfolio because it is higher risk. But yeah, I mean they're fine. It's not really competing with stock market. It's just another investment.
And does the majority of your advice work and focus and the training focus on the stock market, or are you focused on commodities, hard and soft commodities and everything else?
Everything, because I personally invest in everything. So stock market, forex, commodities, indices, the whole lot really, and crypto of course. So it's almost exactly the same strategies work across all of those because the price movements that you see in charts is due to mass human psychology, and we're all trading the same thing, so it's the same psychology repeating the same patterns that occur. So you can apply it to anything.
My audience in Dubai, I think, would benefit from sitting in a room with you and listening to you teach that kind of stuff. Are you someone that travels outside of the UK and you can teach this kind of stuff?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, quite often I'm in Dubai. Not teaching. I just really like Dubai. But yeah, absolutely. Of course, it would work, and
it'd be great to get you in a room with a couple of hundred people that know me and just sit down and teach them what you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, be very up for that. It'd be a great thing to do.
Good. How can people get hold of you?
To get hold of us, probably my main website, darrenwinters.com.
Okay.
Just Darren, DARREN. Winters, WINTERS.com, and it's got all my details and everything. And
stick it on there. Okay, we'll put that to the link of the podcast as well so people can follow it.
Yeah, cool.
I know that you're off, it's Father's Day like it is for me.
It is,
you're off to have lunch for your kids, so I won't keep you any longer. I just want to say thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me. It's been great chatting to you today, and now I've put a face to the name, I feel a whole lot better about it. And thanks for keeping investing simple for me to understand too.
Yeah, great. Well, great to meet you, and thank you for bringing me on the podcast.
No worries.
Yeah,
cheers.
Cool. Thank you.